Alright guys, how's it going? It's Dax here. So, I'm gonna have to make a part 2 of this video because even though a lot of people are now starting to see the truth, right, and are agreeing with me, there's still some of you that have yet to be convinced, and some of you that still get very upset. Okay, now I'm willing to admit that I'm not entirely right, and I don't have all the answers. If you guys provide me some good counter evidence, okay, but there's been no good counter evidence. This one gentleman put forth action movies like Jason Bourne and some other films as evidence. Guys, action films are not evidence, okay? There's no good counter evidence as of now, okay? I'm not saying that some might pop up, okay, and maybe there's someone out there that might provide some good clear evidence, okay? There's a lot of islands in the Philippines. There's a lot of tribes, okay? Now, that brings me to my next point, okay? A piece of evidence that I haven't given you guys yet, okay? Just go check out the Igorot tribe or any of the tribes that were not colonized by the Spanish, okay? And you'll see that they have very different weapons, okay? The Igorot tribes, mostly axe and spear, okay? You could see this in Jose Lozano's paintings, right, from that era. You see this, the soldiers that are trained by the Spanish generals with Spanish sabers, okay? And then he depicts the Igorot tribes, and indeed, they are very different. The areas like Cebu and these other areas where they have the most concentration of Filipino Eskrima, okay, come from these areas which the Spanish trained the natives, okay? Someone else talked about how when I compared destreza techniques from Don Jaime Morelos manuals and from Don Manuel Antonio's manuals, right? They have the checking of the hand, the triangular footwork, right? All these things. I've heard, well, that's another systems to fencing. Not really. Okay, if you look at the time, Britain, France, Italy were all adopting a very linear style of fencing. Okay. Actually, if you want to bring up a source that looks very similar to Filipino martial arts, that would be Dusak. Okay, if you look at medieval Dusak, it's very similar to Filipino martial arts, and that comes from the weapon itself. Okay, it's a short saber, basically, right? That's very similar to a lot of. You could say it's similar to a lot of Filipino bolos. Usually, Filipino bolos tend to curve forward, whereas the cutlass or sabers, they're usually curved back. Some of them are straight. Some people will argue that that's not a real saber. My point is, okay, is that all the evidence points to the Spanish influence. Okay, there might have been native influence. Okay, but then what did they do? They renamed all their moves into Spanish moves, right? Abanico, Redondo, Bacalao, Espada y Daga. So they took their native arts and they renamed everything into Spanish names. Okay? I'm not convinced, guys. All right? Send me some good evidence and then we'll see. All right? Thank you all for watching. I hope this is the last video I have to make on this. All right? As I said before, I think the Filipinos actually made the style of Spanish fencing better and more applicable to today's world. The Filipino martial arts is very translatable to a lot of modern day weapons, right? Whereas destreza, especially the older back you go, really can only be done with, their style rapiers and maybe some other swords of that time, right? All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this is the last video I'm going to make on this. I'm going to start making a lot more videos on the origins of jiu-jitsu as well, and I'm going to go back into making some Jeet Kune Do videos that I wanted to talk about. But for now, I hope this is the last one I have to make on Filipino martial arts and this whole debate. All right, everybody, much love. Continue practicing, and I'll see you next time.